Hello everyone, welcome to the Adventures Press. In today's short video, we're just going to go over how to open your own Figma file through our link and then start kind of creating your own little homebrew creation. So if you're starting here from just the welcome page, if you go down into our Figma Link channel, you can go ahead and click. Now in my case, I have the Figma app downloaded, so it's trying to redirect me there. However, if you haven't done that yet, you can still open it up in the browser. So you can see here that we are now in the Campaign Creator Official. If you're just working in this one, you can see, if we try and edit something, it's not going to let us do anything. That's because we're in View Only. So in order to create your own that's actually editable, we'll go back into our files. You can see here, if we right-click, we can duplicate. That will create a new file, which is now editable. So we can go up here and rename it anything we'd like. We'll just name it my homebrew. And now you can see that different text items are editable. So in this case, we're kind of in our style guide page. This can give you a little rundown on what some of the different fonts that we use are, as well as the sizing. You can also see all of our colors and backgrounds, some of our components that have been made already. But if we go into create our own content, the way that this is largely going to work is a very drag and drop system. So we have different assets that have already been made. If you go and just click on one of these assets, you see it'll bring you back to the components page. So what we actually need to do is click and drag into this kind of, working space. You can see here it has this sort of purple outline, and again, a lot of this stuff probably won't be editable, but we can go ahead and change that in a second. Before we do that, there's a couple different variants that you can be aware of. So right now we are in a print spread. If you go over to this right panel, you can also select different things. So we could do a digital spread. This is great if you're trying to do 2-page PDFs. Otherwise, we can edit individual pages as well. In this case, I'm just going to keep it on a print spread. And then if we go and right-click, you can see down here, we'll click Detach Instance. This kind of makes it its own copy, and we can now edit it. In this case, we just have some kind of placeholder items in here just to kind of give you a little idea of the layout. However, you can see here we have other assets that we can place in. So what I'm going to do is create a copy of just this left page. Just holding Option, in my case on a Mac, and dragging down will create a copy. Otherwise, you can Control-C, Control-V like normal. Again, in order to use these assets, we're going to drag them over and drop them in. In this case, I think we're just going to make a quick page containing a page header, an image block, and then a stat block. So I can go ahead and delete these kind of starting assets, and I'll go in and place our page header. Now you can see that it showed up behind our image. We can quickly fix that by going into our layers, and you can see on this that our tiling background is below this text group. We just want to drag that back below it. It kind of goes from top to bottom, so now we're all good. If we go back into our assets, we can now place an image frame, so drag it off to the side, place it underneath, and our stat block, doing the same thing. You can see we have these kind of generic stat blocks that have already been made. You can go in and, change all of these text spaces to be whatever you'd like. We also have two different types of stat blocks. So we have this thin one or a wide stat block. Wide is great if you're creating more of a in-depth or say a legendary creature that has a lot more actions. In this case, we're going to go back to a thin, and you can see right now everything is stacked vertically. In order to show you how we can start going horizontally, all you have to do is select two different items and then click Shift A. This will create what's called an auto layout. We can go into auto layout more in future videos. However, you can see here that it is still currently a vertical layout. If we just select it to be a horizontal layout, you can now see that they line up a little bit more like how you would expect. And again, if we just Control V, we could create another one and it'll show up right below it. Within these auto layouts, you can also change the orientation pretty easily just using your arrow keys. So I hope this quick introduction is enough to kind of get you going. If you have any more questions, we can go more in depth in future videos. Just let me know what you'd like to see. Thanks again for checking us out.